A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 19, verses 11 to 28. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. While he had their attention, and because they were getting close to Jerusalem by this time, an expectation was building that God's kingdom would appear any minute, he told this story. There was once a man descended from a royal house who needed to make a long trip back to headquarters to get authorization for his rule and then return. But first he called 10 servants together, gave them each a sum of money, and instructed them, "Operate with this until I return." But the citizens there hated him, so they sent a commission with a signed petition to oppose his rule. "We don't want this man to rule us." When he came back, bringing the authorization of his rule, he called those 10 servants to whom he had given the money to find out how they had done. The first said, "Master, I doubled your money." He said, "Good servant, great work. Because you have been trustworthy in this small job, I am making you governor of 10 towns." The second said, "Master, I made a 50% profit on your money." He said, "I am putting you in charge of 5 towns." The next servant said, "Here is your money safe and sound. I kept it hidden in the cellar. To tell you the truth, I was a little afraid. I know you have high standards and hate sloppiness and don't suffer fools gladly." He said, "You are right that I don't suffer fools gladly, and you have acted the fool. Why didn't you at least invest the money in securities so I would have gotten a little interest on it?" Then he said to those standing there, "Take the money from him and give it to the servant who doubled my stake." They said, "But master, he already has double." He said, "That's what I mean. Risk your life and get more than you ever dreamed of. Play it safe and end up holding the bag. As for these enemies of mine who petitioned against my rule, clear them out of here. I don't want to see their faces around here again." After saying these things, Jesus headed straight up to Jerusalem. The Gospel of the Lord. Reflections on the Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 19, verses 11 to 28. Jesus and his disciples were nearing Jerusalem. The disciples had a feeling that the reign of God was about to appear. As the beginning of the Acts of the Apostles reveals, they were hoping that Jesus was about to restore the political kingdom of Israel. But the kingdom of Jesus was not at all in the way they expected. Jesus uses a popular story of those days about Herod the king to speak about the kingdom that he was going to establish. The parable of the nobleman going to a distant land to get appointed as the king is perhaps the story of Herod Archelaus, who had gone to the emperor in Rome seeking to be declared the king of Judea and Samaria. His 2 brothers, as well as a delegation of key people from both Judea and Samaria, opposed his move. When Jesus spoke this parable, his audience could immediately associate the story with the incidents of the past that they knew very well. Archelaus, the son of Herod the Great, had gone to Rome in the year 4 before Christ to get himself appointed a king. On his return, he succeeded his father. Similarly, Jesus is soon to depart, and in the future, will return as king. During his absence, his servants are entrusted with their master's affairs. The king in today's parable, before leaving, gives 10 units of money to each of 10 servants and tells them to invest the money until his return. In the narrative of Luke, all the tenants are given equal amount to do business with. A major difference from the narratives in other Gospels is that there are a lot of people who despised this master and did not want him as their king. In the same way, Jesus was soon to go away and return someday as king and judge. While he is away, his servants will be entrusted to take care of their master's affairs. But there are many who will reject him completely. Today we are asked to reflect on the special gifts that God has given to each one of us and how are we going to use them, investing them. When we invest our riches, talents, in love of God and neighbor, we multiply our riches. Where do we invest our gifts, our talents, both inborn and acquired? The message is clear. The more we invest, the more we will gain. We cannot stand still or just cling to what we have. The only way to gain is to let go, to give, and to share. It is not collecting but sharing that generates wealth. The wealth that really matters, freedom, security, and peace.